The year 2021 has been quite a significant year in the context of global history, and Calibishie fits into this picture very nicely. Calibishie is a very tiny and tidy community village in the northeastern part of Dominica. The village which I call home, although I must hastily add that Woodford Hill, which is right north of Calibishie, or is that east of Calibishie, is also home to me. So too is Wesley and Marigot, because my grandfather's father was from Marigot, my grandfather was from Wesley. My grandmama, Amiwa Simituman. My parents, my father and mother, well, my mom is from Woodford Hill, my father was from, because he's now deceased. And I was born in Calibishie in the hands of Macamil, Jejin, Manibs, Verisia, et al. So Calibishie Chronicle is a major aspect of the history of our country and global history as well, because we are part of the world. And on this program for 2021, I had been focusing on interesting stories, I think, which took place in Calibishie during the decade of the 80s, the time when I actually found myself, and when my sort of characteristic was nurtured by the community livity. I do not remember anything of the 70s per se as much, but that decade of the 80s gave me a sort of self-awareness that I boast of and I promote on these episodes of programs called Calibishie Chronicle. So on the last episode, I dealt with ever-ready battery, and I wanted to close up on this before we get into the new year. This is of course going to be the final program for 2021. So in 1 minute, let me just end by saying that the ever-ready battery had been a major tool of communication, of information, of success, of awareness and enlightenment for me, because back in the day in the 80s, it was batteries that we knew. We had electricity, which came around in the mid-1970s, but not everybody could afford lights, or not everybody had lights at the time, so battery was the thing. And there were different sizes of battery. I mentioned that the last time. And to me, we may look down on the battery as something of the past, but in hindsight, it was like an opening of the world to me. The battery to me back then was what the internet is to my children. Do you understand that? And the babies. So I wanted to spend some time on Calibishie Chronicle to mention the battery, and not just the battery, ever-ready battery, which had been that main source of connectivity back in the 1980s. So we are done with ever-ready, and we are ready to move on to 2022. In 2022, what I'm going to be doing is more of the same. Instead of doing a program whenever I get the time or I feel fit, I'm going to commit to do a Calibishie Chronicle program once a week on a Sunday. So you can expect a Calibishie Chronicle feature to be released every Sunday for 2022. That's a commitment that I'm making. You can call it a resolution if you wish. That's cool. And I'm also going to possibly think of doing something especially for the youth. Not me, but for the youth, by the youth. Hoping that we can get a couple of young people to step up and to help platform the information that I would like to place out. Because I think we're at a very crucial stage in the history of our country where the youth must be taken much more seriously. If we don't, we may just lose the future. So it will not be part of the Calibishie Chronicle feature, but I'm intending to do something on the youth. And if it be that it's going to be a Calibishie thing, let it be, because we have a lot of vibrant youth in Calibishie as well. So that's it in terms of the programs for 2021. Our final program ends, and we promise you every Sunday in 2022, if everything remaining equal, to have a Calibishie Chronicle feature, the same 5 minutes, produced and rebroadcast live on Facebook and other social mediums. I wish you well as we end this year, and I bid you great tidings, success and prosperity in 2022 and beyond.